Hello, I'm Trudy, One Grounded Angel. This is the weekly angel card reading for the week beginning Monday, October the 2nd through to Sunday the 8th, 2017. So I'll start shuffling the cards, see what messages the angels have to give us for Monday, and we'll see what relates to the circumstances that we're facing. You are safe. Great. We had Archangel Michael come through really strongly last week as well. So if you didn't catch that reading or you're not familiar with him, he is associated with strength, courage, confidence, and protection. Oh, of course, the most important one. Left that to last. The message here is you are safe. Now, Michael is someone that you can call on if you are not feeling safe. I do it every day. I've talked about this before. In my daily meditations, I ask him for protection to keep me away from, not to keep me away from, but to keep me protected against negative energies and fear-based energies. That doesn't mean I never encounter negativity. Just means I'm not taking it on board. It's not wearing me down. So you can do the same if that appeals to you, but if not, you know, the core message here is that to remind you that no matter what you're going through, you are being looked after by the angels. I know that's difficult when you're in circumstances that you haven't chosen and are not fitting in with your life plan. That's scary because we can't control them, and that feels, that makes us feel unsafe, and that we're in this unpredictable world. Which we are. It is an unpredictable world, unfortunately, but you know what we do have is faith to keep us, not to keep us safe, but to help us feel safe. We're already safe, but to remind us that we're safe, to give us an anchor in turbulent times. This is what we come back to time and time again. And, you know, people who were raised in religious households sometimes talk about when they are in the adult world and they get into danger, the first thing that comes into their minds are those prayers they were taught to recite as children. It doesn't mean that they only care about religion when they're in trouble. It just means that it's the comfort of reciting those words and remember there is something greater than us that is looking after us. That's what they come back to, and that's so important to remember. We do have someone, some things looking after us. I don't like to use one because I don't believe the universal God as being a human. I think of it as like a force or a power, a source, I guess. That's why people talk about the universe as being the source or creator. But I don't like to, and I try to avoid using a he or she either. Oh, what do you know? I've gone off on a tangent already. That didn't take long. Anyway, here's what you need to know. You're safe. So whatever you're going through right now, particularly this is for people who are going through change right now, you are safe. It is okay. So carry on, keep moving, and keep asking for protection and encouragement so that you feel like you can get through this. Tuesday. Ooh. Wow, I don't think you saw that. It was probably out of shot, but I just dropped the deck. I don't think these are right. So I'm going to pick up another one and we'll come back to those. Wednesday. I know that seems like I'm making excuses for my clumsiness, but yeah, it was something about the dramatic way it's been flying out of my hands. Tuesday, you are profoundly clairvoyant. Now, this is something that people struggle with. Every single person has intuition and a gut instinct, is what it's sometimes called in popular culture. There's this idea that psychic is a gift that is only given to certain people, and that's really not true. Everybody has the ability to hear messages from the divine. Not everybody feels called to do that in a professional sense like I'm doing, but I don't like to think of it as a gift. So that's why people talk about, you know, being blessed, or well, not being blessed, but being gifted. I kind of recoil at that because I don't like to be put on a pedestal or elevated in that way, because the fact is everybody can do this. In the same way that everybody can hear messages from their loved ones who've passed on, or recognize them. Not everybody wants to, and if you close yourself off to things like your intuition, then, or you know, messages in that way, you won't receive them. So what this card is letting you know is that the messages that you are receiving are accurate. So they are saying for some of you that is messages from loved ones who passed on. If you've suspected that's a message from such and such a person, it is. If you, if you're getting like a gut instinct telling you that you can't trust a certain person, that's accurate. Trust it. The thing about your intuition is it sometimes gives you messages that are not logical. that's kind of the deal with intuition. It's not logical. It gets into a war with your brain, and we're creatures of logic, so we want to go with our brain. It's really hard to switch that off and to trust the intuition, but trust me. Don't trust me, as opposed to your intuition, but I mean, you can rely on my experience on this matter. The intuition is always right, and a lot of people will tell you the same. So it's difficult to trust it, but if you can do that, you will find things open up for you, and you will avoid all sorts of calamities. There's a great quote that comes up on Instagram every now and then, and on Pinterest. Told you so from your intuition. And yeah, look, we've all been there, haven't we? I knew I couldn't trust that person. I knew that wasn't going well. It's not easy to do, but that card is asking you to trust your intuition. Wednesday, mother. Okay, lots of different messages here. First of all, if you are in conflict or having tensions with your own mother, this is asking you to try and heal that relationship. Now, I know there are extreme cases where mothers are, there's a toxic element to that relationship, and I'm not saying you should overlook that if that's the case. Some people have, estranged themselves from their parents because there is some, I don't know, mental health issues, or there's some sort of substance abuse. I'm not going to tell you to ignore those things if you know in your heart what's right for you. I'm talking about more low-grade kind of tensions and hurts here. So, but if that is the case for you, that you have estranged your mother or severed that relationship, it might be about you needing to make peace with that deep down, because when you take a big step like that, it cuts you real deep. So you might find that even though you think you're okay with it, occasionally it will still come up, and you'll feel like you are wounded all over again. I'm not going to tell you how to deal with that, because I'm certainly no expert, but I am telling you, trust your intuition on where this is triggering you. Now, other meanings, if you're trying to become a mum and that's a struggle for you, this is giving you encouragement that that's absolutely in the plan for you. It may not be in the way you envisage it, and it certainly may not be on the schedule that you have, but trust that that's right for you. Now, if neither of those fit in for you, we all have a nurturing energy. So basically, regardless of your gender, we have masculine and feminine energy. So in an ideal world, they would be balanced, but the reality is they're often not. So part of the feminine energy is the nurturing element. So, basically all human beings are here to nurture in some way. So where are you expending that energy? Are you nurturing a pet? Are you nurturing a friend? Like, make sure you're doing what you can to care for other people. For some of you, they're saying this is an invitation to do more to care for someone who needs you, even though that may not be convenient for you. I'm not saying to, if you have boundary issues here and someone's pushing them, I'm not saying you should overlook that and to just bow to what they're requesting of you. It's more like a voluntary thing where you're not being called to do it, but your intuition is calling you to do it. I hope that makes sense. I realise it's a little bit out there. So those are different meanings to do with mother. And also, it's letting you know, if you are a mum, you're doing a great job. You really are. This comes up so often when I do readings for women who, are concerned about their family, because it's a really freaking hard gig you're doing. Being a mum is not easy. Neither is being a dad. And this is letting you know you're doing great, so keep it up. I know there are 1,000 things to worry about, and I know that you will make mistakes, because everybody does, and I'm sure that your mother probably made mistakes with you. So this is just about forgiving yourself and being compassionate towards yourself through that period, and continuing to live to be the best that you can. Now, I'm being told I need to go back to that deck that I accidentally dropped. So some of the cards have just fallen slightly out of view, so excuse me while I lean over and grab them. So elegant. Right, let's try this again. Now we're up to Thursday. I'll try and shuffle them so you guys can see. Maybe slightly more interesting than looking at my mug. There you go. time to decide. Make a decision now so you can move on. Now we are making decisions, like hundreds of decisions a day. I exaggerate, but we're making a lot of decisions a day. Now this is not, oh, hang on, I'm getting conflicting messages here. So what I was going to say was, this is not about the smaller decisions you make. Will I have toast? Will I have cereal? But then I got a message that actually some of you are particularly indecisive. Hello Libra, not looking at you. But if you're one of those people who struggles with basic decisions all the day, this message is very much for you, that you need to do something about that because it's paralysing you. And the reason we struggle to make decisions is not because we don't know what to do, it's because we do know what to do, but we don't want to do it because we're scared of failure. In a lot of cases, obviously there are exceptions to that. But the most reassuring thing I can say to you on that note is you can't make mistakes. You can't get it wrong, because even if things don't turn out the way that you want them to, you're going to learn something and you're going to get something out of the experience. You're going to be better for it. So always trust your judgment and go ahead. They're saying there's a link here with this clairvoyant here, because the best way to make decisions is to listen to your intuition. So the word clairvoyant, by the way, just circling back, I know we think of that as some sort of sage with a crystal ball and probably purple hair. The thing is, no offence to anyone who fits into that category, the thing is, clairvoyant isn't about being able to see the future. It's being able to channel messages from above, from the divine, and those are not predictions, because, just my opinion, but I really don't think you can predict the future. The future is changing all the time based on the decisions that you make. It's about getting messages that are going to help you navigate challenges and make the best life choices that you can, and that's where your intuition is so helpful. Should I take this job? Should I not take this job? Once I got offered a part-time job, I'm self-employed by the way, but I got offered this 3-day-a-week job, which would have been perfect because it would have been like a great security for me while I did the other 2 days my freelance writing. And I was like, yeah, this is great. I was literally about to type the email saying, yes please, let's talk about contracts. And something was stopping me, and every time I went to go and write it, I just couldn't. And I thought, is this fair? And I realised it wasn't. I didn't want the job. It wasn't right for me. Even though it looked so good on paper and would have been really great, my intuition was telling me it was not right. And as it turned out, it was definitely not the right job for me. So thank goodness I didn't go ahead with that, and I trusted my intuition. So, but if I hadn't, and if I'd gone ahead and done it anyway, I would have just learned the lesson, oh, this is not right for me, and then I would have left. So it wouldn't be the end of the world. Sometimes there's an element of perfectionism. We want things to go perfectly or just brilliantly, and for there not to be any errors or any missteps. And it's just not what life is about, okay? So trust yourself to make good choices, and trust yourself to be able to recognise when things aren't going right and to do something about it. So in that way, you're not going to make mistakes, because you can course correct at any time. Now, for those of you who may be facing a big decision right now, perhaps it's about jobs, I don't know, the message is really the same. Trust your intuition. You can't make a mistake. But when you don't make a decision, you are in fact making a decision. You're choosing to do nothing, and that's a bad choice, because it leaves you paralysed and it keeps you stuck. If you always do what you've always done, you're always going to get what you've always got. So let's focus on moving forward instead and make some choices. Yeah, okay. I was going to say something else there, but I thought no, I'm just muddying the waters. We'll go with Friday now, see what comes up. Oh, goodness. Mother Mary. So, if you've been watching my videos before, you'll know that I do not believe in coincidence. This is not a coincidence here. And you will also have heard me say that the angels repeat themselves when they want to make a point. And my goodness, they do want to make a point here. So I'm not going to repeat exactly everything I just said for Tuesday, so just keep that top of mind. But I'll also say for Thursday, the imagery here, I mean, again, it's very similar. Oh gosh, the lighting is just terrible if you look at that. But look, it's Mary surrounded by babies. And if you've done any Bible studies, you'll know that Mary was involved in that nativity story. Whether or not you believe in that is not material. Let's just take it as a story. Mary had a role, obviously a very key role, in the Immaculate Conception and That is why this card says expect a miracle. That is the focus here. And even though Mary is symbolic of motherhood, she's also symbolic of miracles. So she's a good one to call on if you need a miracle. And they're asking you to believe in miracles of that. Now, I've already talked about people struggling to conceive. That may be what the meaning here for you is, the miracle that you need. Or it may be completely unrelated. Something that seems unlikely. Something that seems statistically impossible or just beyond the realms of possibility. Believe in it. And even if it doesn't work out, you don't lose anything by hoping for something to happen. It doesn't make you more disappointed later on. It doesn't. You don't protect yourself from disappointment by expecting it. That's just kind of how you attract it faster, actually. So believe in miracles. And please know you're not alone. That's also really important. Okay, they are saying to me that is very much about fertility and conception difficulties. And I realise obviously not everybody watching this card is going to fit into that category, but it's something that they particularly want me to emphasise for those of you who are in that category. Oh, Friday's jumped out already. Oh, Astara, we had this on Tuesday last week. It's about reaching for the stars, not limiting yourself when you are setting goals. So this law of attraction stuff comes up again about how we manifest things. If you say you want something but you actually physically aim for something below that mark, you're not going to get anywhere. You might actually hit that lower mark and then you'll just be unsatisfied. Ask for what you really want and make sure your actions align with that. When we ask for one thing but go after something else, it sends mixed messages to the universe. The energy is muddied and you don't get anywhere. You don't get what you want. So ask for what you really want. I want a healthy long-term relationship. Therefore, do not date losers. I mean losers in a compassionate way, of course. People who are troubled will go with that. That was the example I used last week. But another example would be if you, in Korea, if you want a particular job, say to the universe, I want this job, and apply for it. Don't go and apply for something lesser than. It's really important. I'm not saying, obviously, if the job's you know, 10 years more experience than you have, that you shouldn't accept lesser jobs to get up to that point. Of course, that's about working towards your goals. But I am saying keep your eyes on the prize and be very clear that that is where you are going. The way we create things in our lives is by working with the universe. Everything that happens to us is a co-creation. So we must do our part. Nothing shows up for you on a silver platter. And, you know, if you're not willing to do anything towards your goal, it's not going to happen for you because the universe responds to action. That's how energy works. You don't need to understand physics to know that. So, Sunday. Okay, these two are jumping out. Alright, so first of all we have energy work. This is going to be for some of you. I'm not going to put this on my Instagram, but someone watching this needs to be doing some energy work. Some Reiki, could be even cord cutting within that, kinesiology, body work, chakra cleansing, crystal healing, anything like that that's working with energy, kundalini yoga as well. And that's for people who've already been pointed towards that. If none of those you've even heard of, or perhaps none of them you've been thinking about, that message is not for you. It's for people who've been considering it, been putting it off. Go do it. Now, everybody else, steady progress. Another variation of the patience card, which, as you know, is one of my least favourite words. It's down there with detox. Zero interest. But here's the deal, patience, unlike detoxification of juicing diets, etc., which I abhor, patience is actually something that's really important and really necessary, and it pushes my buttons because it's something I need to work on, and it's something the universe pushes me on every freaking day, just about. So have patience with how you're going. It takes time to get to where you want to go. It may take your whole life. Just because you feel like you're not getting anywhere doesn't mean you are not getting anywhere. It just means you're not there yet. So you just have to keep going. This is really an encouraging card asking you to stay on track and not to give up. Don't buy into despair. Just keep going. It's really important. You are getting there better than you know. You're just not there yet. remember, this is something I repeat all the time because I find it really reassuring. Your present does not determine your future, okay? Just because this is where you are right now doesn't mean that's where you're going to stay. We must have faith in the ever-changing nature of the universe and its ability to deliver miracles. Things will change for you, believe. So we've got protection and intuition. I would say that's very strong in this link here with making decisions as well. It's always your best barometer for what is the best choice for you. This motherhood link's really strong as well, and we've also got this this idea about, I guess, manifestation and reaching for our goals and keeping going as well, because it takes time. That's it for the week. I'll put these on my Instagram at One Grounded Angel. My Facebook page is also called One Grounded Angel, and you can find more information about me, the work I do, book a personal reading, and read some of my articles on www.onegroundedangel.com. Thank you so much, and I will, I'll put these on my social media, and I'll give more detail when I do that as well. So if you haven't quite understood a card, don't worry, when you see it on the day, your circumstances may have changed to make that more clear, that meaning more clear to you, or perhaps it's meant for someone else in your life, and it'll give you some information that will help you guide them without forcing things on them, but it will kind of give you some knowledge that helps you understand things a bit better. And I'll read you again next week. Take care.